given the state of this session, it might be a lot of me just speaking for certain segments. I apologize. We'll get through it. Hopefully it'll be a nice time. And obviously, if anyone wants to interject with anything their character's doing at any point, just do it and we'll figure it out. Anyway, with all that said and done, let's dive right back in with a quick recap. So, last session, and last we left off, we began with all of you appearing within the Tower of Tiamat, where Tiamat and the being that was once your friend Balznor, but is now her son, awaits for you. She spoke of her plans and apologies before telling you why she really summoned you there. She wanted you to free her by completing the work of her priests. She gave you 6 months to do it, or she will absorb her brother Tiamat and absorb her brother Bahamut, rather, and attempt to free herself using their combined power, killing him in the process. Meanwhile, her son has spent some time spreading Tiamat's name through the Nine Hells, and has gathered some support as she promises to free many of the fiends that dwell within, unlike Erebos and many of the Lords of the Nine that keep the creatures there. These forces promise to wreak havoc across Ambyr should you deviate from your task. After this meeting, you headed to the Hawksmoor Mountains for Dokrumir's meeting. After teleporting to Mazzy's parents, Griffin departed for his own mission, and the next morning you all travelled on foot to Hawksmoor. Once you arrived, you were escorted to the Jarl's Hall by the Hawksmoor Legionnaires, a group of heavily armed and well-trained dwarven warriors of Hawksmoor. Upon arrival, you found the Jarl of Hawksmoor in a very poor state, clearly tired, somehow appearing much older and barely able to move or speak. Next to him stood his proud brother Haralvund, and around them the voices of Hawksmoor, several other high-ranking members and clansmen. After speaking with him for a while, you realized he was being extremely critical of Dokrumir, and was suggesting the other voices of the hall be silent. It is then Oramis used his eye of true sight and could see that Haralvund was in fact a tiger-headed demonic creature in disguise. You were able to reveal this to the hall thanks to Gylndan's dispel magic, and he was quickly incapacitated by a mixture of the great guns of the Hawksmoor Legionnaires and Oramis's skills of the blade. And it's pretty much here we pick up the session. So, obviously, last we left off, this creature, this sort of tiger-headed creature, drops to the ground. You left him alive. You did choose to keep him alive, and so as he sort of falls, he does sort of like give a very deep sort of sigh. He lands, and you can hear his very, very labored breathing on the ground as he's riddled with fucking bullet holes from these massive blunderbuss weapons from the Hawksmoor Legionnaires. Without even a word, simply just like a hand signal, the Hawksmoor Legionnaires are immediately split off into 3 groups, pretty much. So there's 12 of them plus their captain. So 4 of them head towards the voices of the hall, and they escort them out. 4 of them head towards Oramis and this demon on the floor, and they begin putting this demon in shackles and like making sure, Oramis, you're all right, and sort of asking you to stand back while they just get this thing secure. And the last 4 sort of almost surround you, asking you to sort of lay down your weapons and stop any spells. Things are okay now. And the hall goes from suddenly like erupting into action to suddenly very, very quiet. The captain himself runs up to the Jarl, sort of grabs the Jarl and begins escorting him out to the side. Is there anything you would all like to do in this present moment? The Legionnaires almost seem a little more relaxed with you now, as you've obviously uncovered this plot, and they do understand that you are the Guardians. You are literally famed in some places for taking on demons. So they do give you a lot of leeway as to what you would like to do at the minute. So is there anything you'd all like to do?
Might I suggest that we take some time and then reconvene for Dokrumir's hearing? I'll sort of that to any remaining nobles, or if we've gone out with the nobles.
Yeah, you guys are still there. Yeah,
I'm talking to a wall.
You absolutely can do. The Legionnaires say, "Oh, yes, you're free to go as you please. We could use your expertise if any of you are available to question this being, whatever the hell it is. Otherwise, you're free to go. We should have things from here. I should hope. Come on, get him awake. We need to see where Harmond really is, and if you can fix what's happened to the Jarl. Come on. And these things begin to start trying to wake up this creature. Is there anything else anyone would like to be doing at this point, or are you just leaving it up to them?
How have they restrained it?
So they've got these shackles. And Oramis, you can see with your Eye of True Sight, these shackles almost glow when you look at them, indicating they're magical in some semblance. They're almost these shackles that are tied to the hands and the feet, and then connected by a chain in between them. So all of his hands and feet are shackled together on the floor, and he's sort of like in this position, like curled up, almost in this like feline sleeping, like curled up position. But yeah, bleeding this horrid, like black, like very, very dark red, almost black blood across the floor of the Jarl's Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's nothing else anyone would like to
while
do.
that's going on, I would like to approach the Jarl and the legionnaires surrounding him.
Yeah.
Tentatively, like who our Jarl is clearly ill. Who has been caring for him?
I believe some of the local priests of Apollo have been caring for him. I confess they've not been able to find a cure for his ailment. They think it does not seem to be medical in nature, possibly magical. It's very, very strange. Whatever it is, we need to get him back to the to his chambers right away. This has clearly put some strain upon him. And you can see like the Jarl, pretty much like wrapped in the arms of the captain, is like heaving heavily. Like this guy, yeah, he looks to be, he should be maybe about 100. He looks as if in sort of human years he's like 80, 90 years old. He looks very, very old, and yeah, really not in a very good way.
Might I be permitted to approach or to accompany you alongside, and with the others tend to the Jarl?
Well, of course, come with us. You've earned that much. And yeah, he keeps on moving, but you can absolutely follow along and
I'll just
do a
follow
basic.
along behind.
Yeah. So they're taken back. You're taken sort of through the castle, several which ways. At some point, a few guards come with, what do you call it? Like a gurney, like a sort of like bed on wheels, pretty much. And they come and pick him up on one of those and take him back to his chambers, followed by a few dwarven priests of Apollo, like two, namely individuals, one male, one female, who, bow at you when they see you, recognizing who you. It's a bit of a weird situation because at the one hand they recognize your position within the church, but on the other hand they also recognize your position here. It's a little bit tentative and a little bit weird, but because you're being guided by the captain of the guard, they don't seem too perturbed by it. And with them, you take them back, and they pretty much explain to you that they've tried all your basic cure wounds, lesser restoration, greater restoration. They can't seem to figure out what's wrong with him. They have narrowed it down to a few possible things, some sort of demonic infection, maybe, that needs to be essentially like greater restoration cast at a high level, or something stranger. They're not entirely sure.
Okay.
And if you would like, you can obviously make your own checks to determine what might be ailing this individual.
Opportunity.
Yeah, of course. They, in this sort of stuff, they do defer to you. So yeah, absolutely, you can make a medicine check. Given the 21, never mind. Yeah, so you're looking at this and all the different symptoms and everything that's been going on here, as well as you can see as you're looking over him, just underneath his cuff there, they do mention a claw strike that's sort of down his neck and things sort of emanating from there. And yeah, through all the different symptoms, it seems too wild and sporadic and magical in nature to be like a simple infection. And you come to the conclusion that this is possibly some kind of, I mean, given all the, you're essentially like Sherlock Holmesing this to determine that it's more probably some kind of curse than any old infection. It is more probably a curse that has been put upon him. For him to not only not able to rest, but it's almost like the longer he is without rest, the faster he ages, or the more he magically ages.
Okay.
If you were to get rid of the curse, with the 21, you suspect he'll go back to the way he was.
Okay. I would like to sort of quite deferentially and reverentially try to discuss this openly, aware that my position is tenuous at the moment. And explain that it seems to be some sort of curse. Do I get with that check? Do I get a sense of like that a regular like remove curse would fix this, or do I get the sense that it needs
What
to be
level
more
is remove
third
curse?
level?
You get the sense that like a regular remove curse would probably do the trick.
Okay.
It's just the fact that obviously that spell specifically removes certain curses.
Aware that that my position is tenuous and things, I would probably point out that it was a curse and sort of indicate to them to see if they could cure it rather than start doing any magic myself.
Yeah, that's fair. After doing that, they sort of like look over and almost like checking your work, like looking over and asking you to explain a bit further because they're not quite sure how you come to that conclusion. But then the both of them kind of look at each other and go, "Oh, yeah. Oh, how did we not see this? Get the head of the temple right away. This needs to be done quickly. I fear he doesn't have another evening within him." And the other priest, or the priestess rather, rushes out very, very quickly. Thanks are very, very much given, and they say thanks to that they should have it in good hands, and you should be able to regroup with your friends in the knowledge that the Jarl will be taken care of as best they can, and they'll give you essentially send word of his condition before the procession.
Okay. Then I will.
So well done.
Probably go to like one of the Legion and be like, I know I'm not supposed to be here. Would you escort me to where I'm supposed to go? If I'm wandering on my own,
Absolutely.
It's not going to end well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The captain then escorts you back. And he escorts you to where the rest of you are taken. Essentially, some like apartments within the castle itself. It's not very big. It's like a sort of a local common room with there's about 7 bedrooms, sort of just shooting off of this common room, and then lower down the hallway is a larger sort of meeting/dining chamber. As you arrive, food is already prepared for you. It seems as though they were sort of ready for to have food. And because it is like mid-afternoon, late afternoon now, you're probably starting to get hungry for some dinner. And it's a lot of like, dwarven diet, lots and lots of protein and big loaves of bread and large flagons of ale and things like that. And you can have a wonderful meal before pretty much bedding down for the night, as you don't hear the only news you hear is that the procession will probably be happening tomorrow. Or you will hear news of what is to come tomorrow. So if you're like, you can take a long rest, and the evening passes pretty much without incident for all of you.
As people are bedding down, if we've all got our own rooms, I would just like to wander over and just knock on Oramis's door.
Okay. Oramis, there's a knock at the door. What would you like to do?
I will go and answer the door.
Yeah,
What would
Doc
you
is
do, guys?
there.
I think you know this has been coming for a long time. Just thinking a different kind of stabbing, Nick. One in the anus.
What's a sailor?
Do you mind if I come in?
Sorry, just thinking about what Sam just said.
At least you asked.
Don't wait.
Okay, I'll step in and turn around. Look, Aramis, it's like, Aramis, I want to thank you and to apologize. I owe you an apology for what I said yesterday at Tiamat's Tower when we found out about your new patron and the new situation. And for that, I'm sorry. You have proven today that we can always trust you, and we should have always trusted you. You have potentially secured something that I thought was going to be beyond me forever. And I'm sorry for automatically siding with Gylndan. That's probably just due to how I feel about him.
Put my hand on Doc's shoulder. Just say, "You're welcome, Doc. I'm glad I've regained your trust. And I hope you don't ever doubt me again."
I'm sorry, you shouldn't have had to again. We've been through enough together and more to come.
You're damn right about that. And I will go to my stuff and I'll get out some half-fire rum. And we'll offer him a little toast to our renewed friendship.
I shall gratefully accept.
Both of you make Constitution saving throws.
Oh, fuck's sake. Why?
Doc, you make it with advantage.
Dwarf.
Yeah, Doc, you're fine. This goes down like you've had this before in your younger days. Oh, and Aramis, yeah, you've had stronger stuff on ships. It is very, very strong as it sort of burns down your throat. But the both of you both used to very, very strong liqueur by now. Your days of adventuring and even days before that, drinking. You're both, very, very much used to this kind of stuff. You suffer no ill effects, and if that is all, you may all take a long rest. The next day, you awake and find yourselves sort of waiting around for a lot of the day. Nothing majorly happens throughout most of the day. You are served a
Session rescheduled for the afternoon.
the afternoon. So you have a hearty breakfast, and breakfast turns into boredom. Boredom turns into lunch. Turns into a little more boredom as you're sort of waiting around a lot. Doc, you're also getting maybe a little bit antsy as you've not really heard much word. But eventually, a captain of the guard comes, the captain of the legionnaires comes and asks for all of the guardians except for Doc.
Cool.
And guardians, you are taken down via a large elevator, not quite as far down as Jarl's Hall, a little ways above Jarl's Hall, quite deep, then far into the mountain, into a large amphitheater-like room that is filled with people. A little while later, maybe about sort of 10-15 minutes later, Doc, you are collected. And you are also taken down by town to a similar location, except this is not by the captain of the guard. This is by several dwarves wearing almost like regal apparel, which for dwarves is a more sort of ornamental type armor. They've got sort of like banners like flowing sort of over their sort of arms and behind them and things like that, and long sort of capes, and they don't really speak to you other than saying, "Come with us." And they take you down to this similar large sort of amphitheater, except you are taken almost like backstage. And it is there you wait. And you wait for a little while. Then you see all the voices of the hall pass you, all wearing similar regal attire. The voices of the hall also including Haralmond. You suspect the real Haralmond. He has a black eye and a few cuts and bruises, but otherwise he's pretty much fine. And the Jarl, who is now his much younger, handsomer self, able to walk around and do things. And as he passes you, he does give you a nod of respect. They all head out onto this sort of large stage, and from behind you begin to hear sort of several sort of speeches, or a brief speech about honor and different things like that. Sorry, I've lost where I am in my notes. Yeah, so a brief speech is given, so using magic to project the mighty voice of the Jarl throughout the hall. Before Doc, you are finally invited out onto the stage, guided by 2 guards. And the sight before you, Doc, is unlike any you might have thought. As you step out onto the stage, a crowd roars to applause. The crowd is made up of hundreds of people, most of whom are dwarves, though a small contingent of others are also present. You see a large faction of dwarves wearing similar medical robes to the ones you once did, followers of Apollo from the temple you once studied at. You see a large number of warriors too, each were raising their weapons in admiration and respect. Dwarves from all walks of life and creeds gather here to see your unbranding, and they each holler and cheer as if you'd known them all, even though you know very few of them. In the far corner, almost hidden in darkness, is a small gathering of Dragonborn who are also there, and they cheer for you also. Finally, at the front of the crowd, you see your friends, the Guardians, sat in almost like VIP seats, as well as the familiar face of Artemisa, wearing a beautiful sort of purple dress, and sat beside her are your parents, looking proud as ever. After a while, the cheering stops, and the rites of unbranding begin. Now, I won't go through with you the entire procession, as we'd be here for quite a long time, as it's a pretty long event, and it would be rather boring. Speeches are given by the many voices of the hall on the history of the dwarves, how the clans once fought each other many thousands of years ago, how they came together and fought back against the giants many hundreds of years later, and how they stand strong together now thanks to the courage and loyalty of dwarves like Dokrumir. Proud, strong individuals who fight for their brothers and sisters, even against greater odds. After such speeches, the choir sings a low, slow tune in the crowd that is as old as the mountains these halls sit within. It is a song that reads almost like a mantra for dwarves about honor like a stone, unyielding, unbreaking, and unwavering. Due to its age, it is in a different dialect of Dwarven than most of you non-dwarves are familiar with, but as long as you know Dwarvish, you can make out the gist of such a tune. After the singing halts, there is a brief pause, and then 2 individuals are brought out on the stage wielding weapons, an axe and a hammer, as well as a large stone bowl. The Jarl speaks up.
Holy shit.
A Jarl speaks up and says, "We present these weapons, forged in our ancient forges from metals beneath this very mountain for the purposes of unbranding." The weapons are struck against one another, causing a loud clang to vibrate throughout the room. They are then placed within the metal bowl, and suddenly they both magically begin to glow red hot and melt. Next, 2 more dwarves appear, holding large stones each. These are held above the bowl, and without doing anything to them, they begin to break down into dust, and that dust falls into the bowl also. The Jarl then steps to the bowl and takes a dagger in his left hand, whilst his right is raised over the bowl. He cuts his right hand across the palm, and several drops of his blood pour into the bowl, making the mixture glow a bright red colour. Finally, 2 small holy symbols are presented. One a shield with an axe and hammer upon it, the symbol of Mars, whilst the other is the well-known caduceus symbol of Apollo. Both are placed and melted and added to the mixture. It is then stirred by Harrowland, using what looks like a sort of ornate shovel, and finally, a large implement is brought out to take out some of the mixture, and it is poured into a very large sort of drinking horn. The horn is handed to the Jarl and brought over to you, Doc, and the crowd all sort of sits in awe of what is about to happen. Before drinking, however, there is a brief pause, almost as if the Jarl is allowing you to speak if there's anything you would like to say in this moment. If not, it's fine.
This right is afforded to so few, and is a gift so precious. Not a day has gone by that it hasn't occurred to me that I might one day try and earn this for myself. Although I am young, I feel I have lived a long time already, and I hope to put all the many days before me towards serving the dwarves once more and continuing to earn the gift I am about to receive.
The large horn is handed to you, and as you smell it, you can smell this almost metallic but warming and spiced smell, even though no spices were actually put into it. And you immediately begin to take a sip. Now, though molten metal and stone and things like that were put in here, it doesn't taste like that, nor is it hot as hell. It's actually a, nice, warm temperature. As I said, it smells as it tastes, very sort of almost herbal and spiced. It's warming down your throat, almost a bit like a Christmas drink, but with a bit of a metallic aftertaste almost. And it goes down pretty nicely, but as you sip, you begin to find yourself almost in that moment, just without even thinking about it, drinking more and more and more until eventually you find the entire horn is done. The entire horn is drunk. And as Doc, for the rest of you, as you are all sat there in the crowd looking up at Doc, you realize while he's drinking from this horn, you can't see his face. And it is then when Doc lowers the horn, Doc, you feel this like tingling sensation on your cheek, then almost a numbness. And as you all look at your friend Dokrumir, there is no longer a scar upon his cheek. And there is no longer this sort of break in his hair where the scar had grown over the tissue. Instead, there is just beard, as if there had never been a scar the entire time. As the horn is taken from you, the crowd erupts into applause again as Jarl Gotrek sort of stands to you, puts his hand on his shoulder, says, "We welcome back Brother Dokrumir into the fold. Huzzah!" The entire hall, as I said, erupts into this huge applause. People begin to stand. It is this amazing, massive celebration. And Doc, you are no longer an exile of the dwarves. This applause goes on far too long than, I imagine Doc would ever be comfortable with, before eventually some sort of like a final tune is sung by the choir, a more sort of slightly jovial, upbeat tune. You know it to be a very, very old song as well, but a sort of like mining tune about sort of, greatness of the dwarves and being, can't wait to be back home sort of thing. And the procession and everyone pretty much leaves to that tune. And yeah, Doc, you are no longer an exile. Everyone, you are directed back into this like large foyer space outside, where you can see your friends, the guardians, who have sort of been told to wait for you, as well as Artemisa, who, as soon as she sees you, she runs up, gives you a big kiss on the cheek where your scar once was, just says, "Oh, well, I did not expect that. I'm very, very proud of you, Doc. I can think of no one else who just deserves such honor. I know they're desperate to get you back to the capital as soon as they can, so I'll let you keep celebrations short. I was asked to
I wasn't
come.
expecting to see you here. I thought you were still in the capital yourself.
I was, but when I was told of what was happening here, I made sure to get whoever the hell could to get me over here very, very quickly. And yes, now I owe some people a little bit of money, but it's fine. Unfortunately, I can't stay. I do have a show tomorrow evening in Inksworth. I just wanted to say how proud of you I am. I know it's been a very, very long road.
Thank you.
Well done, my friend. Well done.
Good luck with the performance. I'll see you
Thank
soon.
you. She gives you another massive hug, showing her, decent strength given her sort of slight frame. Lets you go and sort of hums to herself as she exits down the way. In her place, stepping towards you, are two figures that you have not seen in many a year. One, a tall dwarf, much like you, sort of stoic, almost, I describe him as almost like a stone building of a man, to step up towards you. Pretty expressionless face, except for a very tiny, sort of, an ever so slight, like bend in the side of his mouth to indicate a smile. And another beside him, a woman who is just extremely jovial and excited, and almost his alter ego. This very, very upbeat woman. Two older dwarves, your parents, Happening and Bezbena, and they both come towards you. Your mum gives you a massive hug. Just, "Oh, Dokrumir, I'm so proud of you. Oh, it's been so long. Let me look at you. Oh, are you eating well? What's this scar?" And she tries to, lick, does that classic mum thing, like licking her thumb and trying to wipe away. Like, "Scar, what have you been up to? You're meant to be healing people, not getting yourself scratched up. You're meant to be, in these new robes. Where'd you get this armor from?" Your father just looks towards you. "Your hammer looks well."
It's good to see you too. I've missed you both so much.
"We missed you too, our boy." And she gives you this other massive hug. Your dad, bit more stoic, puts a hand on your shoulder, uh, gives you a sort of like subtle nod, which for you is basically like him reacting like your mum, pretty much. The combination of, like, hand on the shoulder, stoic nod, and a very slight smile to him is basically like screaming from the rooftops, "Oh my god, yay, my son." Uh, and yeah, you have this kind of nice moment. And all of you guardians from the outside, you would see all of this. If there's anything you would like to do, as you can see Doc just being embraced by these two older
Lean over
dwarves.
to Oramis and say, genuinely thought Doc was just carved out of rock. I
I
didn't
thought
think
they
it would-
all were.
Yeah. That's how there's so many of them.
From holes in the ground.
That is empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like to probably just like, there's some people I want to introduce you to as well. These are my friends, Gylndan and Oramis.
What's that?
Yeah, and this is a new acquaintance, Kylan. Highly recommended by Gylndan.
Kaiman at the moment is kind of busy as all these dwarven children are just looking up at you, Kaiman, and just going, "Oh, what a year!"
I imagine
Don't
Kylan
crush the
just
children.
turns around and there's already one just like hanging off his tail without him noticing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't make the same mistake at the hatching.
Yeah, Carmen, you are just surrounded by this like block of amazed children who think you're either some kind of dinosaur or a monster, and they can't quite decide which one.
I do this thing where instead of like taking steps, I slide the feet.
Yeah, some of them like grab onto your feet and almost like being dragged by your feet as you're moving along, like faster, faster as you're like moving them
Like-
along.
3 on each side of my tail.
Yeah, the
This is predominantly a dwarven city, isn't it?
this is Hawksmoor,
So
particularly in
none,
this
none of
area
this
you're
shit is
in.
built for Kaiman.
Yeah, no, this is like Kaiman. You are finding pretty much everywhere you're having to like kneel down, except for not kneel down, but like crouch. Except for obviously this castle. The ceiling is massive. It is this huge adorned stone place. It's brilliant. Doc's father sort of looks towards you two and Mazzy who's also here. Looks towards Glyndon and Oramis and Mazzy and just says, "We've heard tales of the Guardians. Shorter than I thought.
Oh, we're much better in action. There must be said. We're not a presentable group, but we're great in the field.
I will have to trust that information."
Oh, fucking hell, you're dry.
his mother just sort of like suddenly like, be nice to them. So you're Doc's friends. We admit we've never really met many of. Well, sorry, we know Artemisa, of course, but we've never really. But so how has our boy been? Huh? How are things? You all look very handsome, very very lovely gentlemen.
Glyndon's just trying to think of a story where Doc hasn't nearly died. Is appropriate for his own mother.
He gets
Oh,
by.
yeah, that's fine. We have quite a life actually. It's a lot of campaigning as a guardian. We go to a lot of protests and stuff like that. So
Yes, protesting the
Yeah,
transports of undead that assault the capital.
yeah, they're actually very receptive to some good old protesting the undead.
Yeah, as you guys say that, your mother like turns around, just like, "What's a undead?" But your father's just like, "That's my boy." Which yeah, like if a shoulder pat and a nod was him screaming from the rooftops, that to you is like, I don't know, your father giving out flyers with a painted picture saying, "My son is amazing." Like
I love this
your father
moment.
is not an emotional man. But in this moment, yeah, you do find him somewhat. I guess to you it's probably welling up, but to everyone else it's just been like very very stale as stone. The Doc's mother sort of goes through a lot of the questions that we've all been there. You go around a friend's house and their mum's asking you loads of questions, like, "Oh, so what do you all do? Where are you from? How did you all meet?" And sort of a lot of
that
those
story's
standard
all
sort of
about
questions.
It started with crime, mother.
I was going to say organized
research.
crime. That doesn't make any better, does it?
I like to think it's one of those ones where every time you go to tell a story, you just catch a glance from Doc as he's like, "Don't you fucking dare."
Yeah.
Slightly alter that one, maybe.
We all head back to Doc's parents, and Doc's mother is a good baker. There's lots of cake and things.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, if everyone make me a deception check as you're trying to deceive his mother into maybe
Right,
telling
I'm
some
going
stories
to
that are
use
unrelated,
one of my divination rolls. I'm going to use the natural one because I don't want to conceal. Oh shit! I've just failed.
I mean, if you don't want to conceal it, you absolutely don't have to.
There
You
we
can
go.
save the
I'm a
natural
roll.
one.
I'm a roll with disadvantage because obviously
Add
the
a
mother
add
always
an 8 to
knows.
that.
Well, Doc, for you, that 5 is actually a 6. As without your scar, your charisma score goes up by 1.
Tap.
So you are now -1, not -2, because
If
you
it
don't
goes up
have
by
a
1,
terrible
it
face
puts me at
demorphy.
7 instead of 6, which is still -2.
No. Your charisma score, not your charisma. So put it up however much. Oh, sorry,
My charisma modifier goes up.
your modifier. So put it up however much you need to go up by 1. So your charisma
I'm
score is
so
now 8.
charismatic. That's a
Still, it's still
-1.
It's still -1.
It's
not
I
fucking
I
great.
hate to break it to you, but you're really not.
Oramis
well,
actually
Nor
says,
is Doc either.
Let me do the talking.
So you're still shit at talking to people, but now you're not talking to people with a terrible face deformity.
Yeah. This means I
which
also
certainly
lose
helps.
my intimidation as well.
You do, but you do gain the benefit of
a normal fate.
you do gain the benefit of unbranded, which is advantage on all checks made against dwarves. So advantage on all charisma checks against dwarves. So good job, Doc. Go get him. So yes, you're all led back. Obviously, Doc's mother does invite you back to theirs for like an afternoon, sort of like afternoon dinner, like lots of like picky bits and bakery bits and things that she had prepared. Lots of like Doc's favorites, and you do get regaled to many sort of stories of Doc as a young trainee priest of Apollo and cleric of Apollo and things like that. And there's a few random ones in there. And yeah, for once, the Guardians actually have quite a nice afternoon, eating lovely pastries and chilling out with Doc's family.
Is
You
Doc an
can-
only child?
Very good question.
Well, yes. When Doc left, he was an only child.
Okay.
Whether or not that has changed.
There are no more children here. It is a fairly quaint house in the dwarven quarter of Hawksmoor. It's what do you call? Not
A bungalow?
that's it. Yeah, it's a bungalow. Sort of like detached.
No stairs.
Bungalow in the middle of in the sort of middle of this street, a sort of detached bungalow. Quite a nice, quaint little place. Lots of trinkets to Apollo and different things set about every room. You can tell at least one of his parents, if not both of them, are fairly well traveled, as there's small trinkets from different places around Ambyr that you've seen, and lots of bits of that. And they have quite a colourful home. Though you can imagine that is mostly to his mother's decoration. His father, you can tell, just has the dad chair, which as soon as he gets home, he just takes off his large boots, sits into, picks up a sort of like large flagon, gets a cake, and that's pretty much him for the entire evening, except for every now and again, just a very, very bland comment. And almost like extremely dry humor to the point where you don't recognize it as humor. But yes,
I wonder where Doc gets it from.
but yes, the Guardians actually have a lovely, nice, quaint little afternoon at Doc's parents' house. Eventually, Doc's
Do we have
father.
any interest in this rakshasa? I don't know if I overly do.
A very
but
good question. I was going to say, do you, what would you guys like to be doing after the fact? I guess I'll leave this down to you. What would you guys like to be doing afterwards?
I guess we just got to find out if he works for anyone who we could be at odds with. Because if it's just a lone thing, then they can deal with him how they want. But
Yeah.
if he's working for someone, we could definitely trade his life for some information.
Yeah.
I think maybe we'll go
Would
after a few tinnies at the Doc household.
on the subject of trading his life, would I know enough about demons and things to know that if they're killed here, they're not really killed outright?
Yeah, you're pretty high level now. Yeah, you would know at the very, very basic level that yes, killing high level demons and devils works slightly differently. Works slightly differently in my world. It's like lower level things like imps and lemures and things like that. Kill them on any world and they're gone. But as you start getting to the higher level stuff, so like above like CR 3 or 4, generally where something has some kind of status, generally at that point, yes, if anything is killed on this world, they are transported back to the Nine Hells to basically be nothing. Basically to be a lemure, a a lemure is, or a lemure, or whatever you want to call it, is basically like a pile of demonic flesh that is formed in the river Styx, and the demon lords and things like that can basically pick up and mold into something slightly better, like an imp. And then from there, the imps will work and hopefully one day be promoted into something greater, and then something greater again, and greater again, and greater again. It goes through a hierarchy sort of system.
Okay.
So killing something in this realm, killing this thing in this world, yeah, it'll be effective, as in it'll transform him, back into a lemure on his world, but he still won't be fully dead. He might come back. He might, you don't know.
Yeah. For your reference, look. That's what a lemur looks like.
Nothing like King Julian.
No,
Nothing like King Jimmy.
it is nothing
No,
like
not
lemur.
yes, nothing like a lemur.
As Ben said, it's a pile of demon flesh.
It is, yeah, pretty much a pile of demon flesh. So yeah, what would you all like to get up to?
Is it appropriate to go and speak to the rakshasa after we've done a bit of Doc's house?
Yeah, if you'd like to. It's up to everyone
Sounds
else.
good to me.
I think we'll go over a little word.
Yeah, head back up
Okay.
to the castle and ask to speak to probably the captain of the Legion, because he's probably they're probably responsible for this.
Yeah, you head back up to the castle. The captain is upon the gates. It's probably getting to sort of near, mostly by evening now, and the captain is sort of stood by the gates. You guardians are given sort of special permission to stay within the like beneath the mountain in the dwarven portion of the city after dark, because of the day's events and your connection to Doc and things like that. And yeah, the captain sort of allows you in. He says, he's answered some of our questioning, though many of our guards and things like we're very tentative as to who we let in. His spell casting is strange, with lots of enchantment spells. It seems you don't need material components and things like that. You need only to speak. And he can weave words with such magic. He's tried to escape twice already since we've captured him. We were hoping you would swing by so that we might have some more experienced hands, but from what we gather, he came in with the demon attack from a few weeks ago, and from what we can gather, he was alone in this endeavor, but we know not if he is lying or anything like that, so we're welcome to your interpretation. Please follow me this way. And he takes you down this elevator, and you go down and down and down and down for a solid 5 or 10 minutes before eventually a loud clang erupts at the bottom and you emerge into the dwarven sort of prison. You're taken through many sort of long corridors left and right. It's almost like a maze through this space of long corridors and massive cells. And cells are different sizes as well. You imagine for creatures of all different sizes, until eventually you are taken to this one large cell at the very end, this large sort of circular cell with a sort of 10 by 10 foot bar, or set of bars that are the only way to sort of see inside. And inside, chained up, is this tiger-headed demonic humanoid figure. Fairly muscular, though not the insane muscles that you've seen on some demons and things like that, not the bows on a head or anything like that, decently strong, quite tall as well, but just sort of sat in the middle of the cell, sort of quietly purring to itself, and it does have that almost like tiger's purr the back of his throat. What would you like to say? It seems silent as you
on the
approach.
way in.
Yeah.
Would we know if rakshasa have some sort of place of authority, in as much as you can have a place of authority in the demon world? Or
Make me a religion check.
hey, I am not good at these. But God loves a trier.
So it's called religion. No, you've got no idea. You know of religion, but bringing it up, Doc suddenly thinks, "Aha! Yeah." So, Doc, you're aware that rakshasa are a little bit weird in the demon world because they're sort of like lone agents. They are often hired by demon lords and things like that, but they are a very unique creation in the fact that because they can take the form of anyone they want to, it's very hard to keep them under your control. So generally, people just let them off the leash and go, "Hey, do whatever the fuck you want." As I say, they are often hired by demon lords to fulfill tasks and things like that. But yeah, they're pretty much lone wolves, I guess. So no, they don't hold any specific sway. They're mostly found in the first layer of hell. In like Tartarus, the main level of hell.
Tartar
Where-
sauce.
Tartar sauce, the sort of main space where most of your classic demons and devils sort of come from. That's where they most prominently reside. As otherwise, some have grown in Dog. You think back to some stories you may know of them. Some have grown to be very, very powerful and command legions of demons and devils. Others have just sort of been a nuisance to not just hell, but to this world and other worlds as well. They often come because obviously the hierarchy in the hells is so rigid, it's very hard for some things to get higher and get the benefits of getting higher. So some of them decide, oh, I'll go to this plane, transform into this dude because he's of a higher position, and sort of like, yeah, pretty much. So no, there is no sort of like higher authority or thing like that they specifically adhere to, but some can, some can't. Yeah, Doc, is your sort of finished
the road,
potentially. But yes, you eventually find this individual just sort of sat clumped in his cell. The captain sort of takes a sort of step back. "I'll leave you all to the questioning." Knocks on the side. "Oi, Kitty, got visitors." Sort of looks up. Looks back down.
Who dares enter my room?
Well, you've not entered. You're still on the outside of the cell.
It's a Shrek reference.
I see.
Right. Oris, should I try and just browbeat this guy into giving up all his secrets?
What are you asking?
I think we just need to know if he was working for anyone in particular. Why there's suddenly a demon invasion? We don't know why there's been a demon invasion, do we?
No. They don't seem to know why.
These are some sort of remnants left over from the tower originally, and
I thought that. I didn't get the impression from what.
well,
It sounds like it was a big assault, like a focused effort, whereas the tower was really random.
Maybe you can ask.
Mr. Pussycat. Go on, Oramis, you can lead, and I will assist you by having fire in my hands. I don't know.
What are you doing here?
I've told you all 1,000 times what I'm doing here. You people, you imperial dwellers, you didn't listen. God. Oh. I'm just here to have a good time, all right? I just thought I would have a nice little time being Harold, or whatever his name was. You all ruined it.
Can I bitch slap him?
He's in the middle of his cell, and you're like on the outside. So no, you're nowhere near
Can I ask Gylndan to mage slap hands and bitch slap him?
him.
Wizards don't do bitch slaps because we're not strong enough.
I'll ask him. where did the demon invasion come from? And don't tell me the demon hell plane thing.
Well, demon hell plane thing isn't really giving me a lot of specifics, but I'll tell you what I've told these dwarven folks. I was in hell one day at the Slaughter Cafe, enjoying my lovely afternoon, when suddenly I was teleported to some sunny field somewhere, and there was this very large tower, and these armored men telling me to fuck off and trying to kill me. So, of course, I ran and I ran and I ran, and I found myself in some mountains. There was, I don't know, several demons and things that found their way there, I suppose, and they were lost and looking for a leader. And of course, I'm a natural born leader. So, I decided that we would mount an attack on the largest settlement nearby. That happened to be this one. I made all of them attack, and in the confusion, I slipped in, took over the place of a bartender, and slowly worked my way up, pretending to be people from there, I suppose. I just like shiny things, okay? I didn't mean for all this fuss. I just want to get back to my cafe.
Massive insight check, please.
Sure. Roll an insight check.
I will use my divination roll 13 to roll a 19.
And I
19,
roll,
okay.
Please.
Absolutely. Just need to look at
Something about his tone.
okay. Okay. So you look at this figure and you look at the way he's sat, you look at the way he's almost trying to catch the metal of his shackles in the light of the fires that are pretty much the only light down here. And listening to the way he's speaking, you think there's an element of truth to what he's saying. You think there is certainly an element of he didn't originally, plan to come here. You think that maybe he was just taken from the tower, like the tower simply plucked him from the hells and brought him here, and he, much like many other demons, gathered up. But something about just then he suddenly decided to be in Hawksmoor, and then suddenly decided to mount a big attack, all just so that he could do this, seems very off. Does seem a little bit strange. Like, it's a pretty, you think, like, the way he's talking, it's a pretty big leap for him to be in the Hawksmoor Mountains. Oh, and then suddenly he has a somewhat decent enough force of devils for an invasion.
He is a cat and they leap. To be sure. Do you have a name?
My name is Akrika.
Krika?
Akrika.
A creaker. Far be it from me to pull your story horse shit, but I'm afraid that's what I'm doing. You just massed an army on the borders of one of the most important strongholds in the entire country.
Can we go back a bit? What's a horse?
Fine, elephant shit, whatever.
Oh, I don't know what that is either.
Who gave you the order?
No one gave me any. You see, I am a very individual person. That's what most people don't understand about me. I don't really take orders, more like enforced suggestions.
Okay, so who enforced suggested you then?
Oh, no one you really need to know about.
How weak is this guy looking right now?
He's looking pretty weak. Like they have not healed him one bit. That like you think they've healed him enough so that he would wake up, and you think there is some natural healing to this creature, but he's still got lots of scars from being fucking blasted by 12 blunderbusses the other day. So
Maybe I
you
will
know,
shoot him then.
but he's certainly
Yeah,
you know.
I think we're concerned with ourselves what we need to know, and you'll just answer the questions if that's okay.
It's very polite.
Disintegrate.
Are you all done now? This noise is hurting me, and they shut my poor ear. Goes up to his ear and sort of smooths it over.
So yes, the name of who enforced your orders. Enforced it. Sorry.
Why don't we make a deal? Okay?
Promised him.
If you promise to let me out and go about my business, I will tell you exactly who told me to do this. I'll tell you everything.
Deal.
As long as you promise to let me out. And I swear I will immediately. We Rakshasa have a gift to plane shift. I promise I'll go somewhere else, far, far away from here. I don't want
promise.
to be here anymore. Your sun's very bright and it's all just very annoying. And your gold isn't as shiny as it is in other places. I'm sick of dwarfs.
Pinky promise. Now tell us.
Are you being serious? Or are you trying to deceive him, Oramis?
I'm deceiving him.
All right, roll.
Actually, well, no, actually, from my perspective, I'm not. I will release him.
I'm still. You're not releasing him in the way he's meaning. So I'm going to ask you for a deception check there.
How about 30?
Okay, here's the fucking annoying thing. Here's a +8 to insight, and I rolled a 20. I rolled 27, right? I got a 19 on the dice, +8, 27. That would beat anyone else except for fucking Oramis. So Oramis, you just sort of give him this look. This look that maybe you hide for only very specific individuals that says, I'm not like these other guys. I'm I'm kind of on your side here. I know of, demons, and I know that you got to do what you got to do, so sure. No matter what they say, I'll let you out. You give him that sort of like sly look, and it's that which he's trying to look past what you're saying, and obviously looking around at everyone else, he's like, oh no, they probably won't free me, but looking at you, he's like, no, actually, I think if anything, he'll help me out, and then maybe we can work together here. Okay, so he sort of looks at you, and he takes a very, very brief, long moment, I think. Is there anything he can do? Oh, okay. Nope, can't do that. That is that. Oh, fucking. Why is every spell gotta have. Oh, he can't do that. 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 Fucking dwarfs, man. Tying him up. Piece of shit. He can't do anything. Can't do any of his spells. So yeah, he'll probably just look at you. Fine. I ended up in the mountains, and there was a creature came to me. It was like a big, like minotaur man. Very strange. He called himself Borisoth, I think. Yes, Borisoth. I think he's meant to be like Borisoth, that old Minotaur dude from a very long time ago, but Borisoth. So like the same but
Big red thing.
different. Yeah, very different.
What did he demand of you?
Well, he demanded that I neutralize the dwarves. He had gathered several local demons that were left over from us all teleporting here. He'd got them all together and said that I was in charge. And, well, he had me there because I love being in charge. Anyway, I
you-
led the attack. Then in the fray, in all the chaos, I decided to do my own little agenda and get a little power for myself. But also I was doing what he told me because, well, I'm good like that.
Where
Were
is she
you
now?
the also gone?
I don't
Where-
know where he is now. He just told me to wait for. He just said that eventually something would happen, some forces would arrive, and I was to get into a position where I should say no to giving aid. If I was to get myself into a position where I could be in charge of the dwarven army, then I should say no to giving the dwarven armies aid.
Are you the sole remnants of the tower?
Well, I don't know. As far as I can tell, there was lots of them. I don't think so. From the way he was speaking, it sounded like there was lots of other demons and devils still out doing things.
Anything you know about? Any places that are mounting an attack
Oh,
similar to what you did here?
I've got no idea, I'm afraid. He didn't really trust me with much information, which is weird because I'm a very trustworthy person.
Inside check. 25.
Yeah, sure. 25. Yeah, you think he's being fairly truthful there, and actually, you probably think that he was lied to, and he was probably, he was probably not told any more information because this guy's fucking annoying and probably can't, would be very easily persuaded to give up such information. So yeah, he probably doesn't know much more about any other incursions.
Well, thank you very much, Akrika. Oramis, release him.
Can I open the gate to get into him?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, as you step forward, the captain sort of looks at you concerned. I hope you know what you're doing. Hands you the keys. You can open up the gate.
I walk over to him and I bend over as if I'm gonna start helping him out of his. Oh, bad wording. I lean over
Yeah.
and as I get close, I just say, give Tiamat my regards, and I stab him in the throat with my hidden blade.
Who's that? And yeah, he slowly expires.
The Rakshasa Slasher.
Rakshasa Slasher.
It's getting longer.
He slowly
the
sort of
title.
bleeds out and expires upon your blade. You sort of like slowly let him down, and you watch as a few sort of seconds go by. Blood begins to pool around him, and then after about a minute, maybe a bit longer, unlike other demons you've faced and demons that have sort of formed here, his body almost begins to burn. And as it burns, it almost decomposes into, well, like sort of paper that's wilting from a fire. It almost pulls in and wilts away. And after, several more minutes, it burns away, leaving pretty much nothing left. Other than just the dried sort of pool of blood that was there. And then looks in. Great. So that's that. Well done, I suppose. What does that all mean, however?
Well, from what you said, I think you might be in for a few more of these sorts of attacks. It sounds like there is a large demon out there who we have come across, but have not had the opportunity to face in battle yet, who is marshalling these forces against you here, and potentially against other places as well.
Right. Well, we've already set up several things to make sure an incident like this doesn't happen again. Code words and things like that to ensure identities are kept.
Very nice.
Thank you for your help, Guardians. If there's anything more we can do for you, if there's any more aid we can lend you or give you in this time, absolutely. Otherwise, maybe go have a break for a long couple of days. Hey, celebrate! You're one of us now.
Indeed. I do require a small word with the Jarl before we depart. That's
Oh.
yes.
Hey, absolutely. I'll take your turn now. And he takes you up high up the elevator, back into the Jarl's hall. Takes you to the Jarl. The Jarl is there with his brother, sort of sorting through several documents and things like that. Haralvan agreed to. Dokrumir, nice to finally properly meet you. I'm Haralvan. Jarl Gotrek sort of sits there. And my name is Jarl Gotrek. I wanted to say hello the other day, but sadly I was not myself. What can we do for you, brother of ours?
About the second letter that Ivan sent that recommended me for the position of councilman. I don't know if you had an
Yes.
opportunity to be caught up on the situation, but the council is in disarray. It has been reduced to 3/10 of what it was. They are in need of as much help and support as they can get, and I would like to assume that position and be that support if you are willing to recommend me for it.
We can think of no finer individual. We simply wanted to get the issue of unbranding sorted first. What happens in the capital, we tend to let stay in the capital if we're honest. But we did not want, an exiled dwarf upon the council of this country. We trust Ivan in his position. He was a good cousin, valiant warrior. Yes, of course, we will back you in this position. Dokrumir, don't you worry. Absolutely. If there's anything else we can do for you, please let us know.
I will do. Thank you. I would like to stay for a while, but I fear that duty requires me to return to the capital as soon as possible. But I'm sure we will be in touch frequently.
I look forward to it. This is your home now, son. Treat it that way. Well, if you'll excuse us, we have a few things to get through here. And they begin sorting through their documents as well. Haralvan shakes your hand and offers you reprieve. And and you are once again escorted back out of the castle. And the Guardians are free to do whatever they would like. Is there anything absolutely immediate any of you would like to get up to? Or can we slightly switch the scene a little bit here?
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
probably just spend the evening traversing some old haunts, and just showing them around.
This is the brothel you give dogging.
This is a student
Sounds
bar,
good.
Gylndan. The brothel is 2 streets over.
Oh,
This is where I used to drink when I
for
was
some
in
reason, they have a
college.
connected basement.
Sounds
The
good.
rumours about
Subtle.
the connected basement are just that, officially.
Oh,
And as a
okay.
councilman now, I couldn't possibly comment.
So, 2 days, 2 fairly calm days pass by. Whatever the Guardians get up to, we can sort out. Whatever, the rest of them want to be doing over those 2 days, we will sort out at some point. But for Griffin Asahi, upon his summoned steed, It is 2 days of long travel through the Hawksmoor Mountains towards the northernmost mountain, whereupon he wishes to become Justikar. Griffin, if you could roll me a survival check, just a basic check to see how well you fare in getting to this place, as you've only really been there once before. And it is a long way through the mountains alone.
Hold the line, caller.
One of my bosses says that a lot. When one calls us her,
Alright.
if she's trying to look to me up, like, bear with caller.
I'm your fucking colleague. Survival, you say?
Survival, please.
Oh, I'm not too bad at these, actually.
Yeah,
I'm on a
Driven-
journey fueled by God.
yeah, driven through purpose. You make it there. Actually, you travel through the night. You travel with speed and with purpose, using your time perfectly. Like as soon as you bed down, you are ready. You are asleep, awake, and off. And you actually make it there in less time than I'll say with a natural 20. You make it in 3 days instead of 4 as you travel. The hours you rack up traveling through the night, traveling with lots and lots of pace and things like that, not having to slow down too long to find a place to bed down, find food, things like that. You make it there in 3 days, and as you arrive at the base of this mountain in 3 days, it's the northernmost mountain. It's not the tallest mountain. It is still, however, a mountain. And as you arrive at the base, you recall there is these two sort of like large monuments to Tyr. These two large sort of statues of Tyr, the one-handed god wielding this large like maul-like hammer. And these two statues almost make like this archway that one would pass through to go on the pathway up the mountain. But as you arrive, you can sense something is amiss. You can sense something is off. Usually there are many individuals there waiting for you, many people going up and down, seeing the lore stones, as they are, for the many paladins and clerics of law and, judges and all sorts of people who are being, commended into the law. It's a fairly popular place to go. Many people take pilgrimages there. It's a very, very important place for Ambyr's history. But today it is silent. Silent bar two figures. As you arrive, you are greeted not by men, by wolves. Two massive wolves, as large as horses, with dark grey fur and almost pearlescent blue eyes that stare at you as you approach.
Wolves, like actual wolves.
Like actual wolves, but the size of horses.
Have these been here before?
You've never seen them here before.
Oh, and they're guarding the entrance to the temple.
Yeah, they guard the entrance to the temple to the top of the mountain. They're guarding the entrance to the bottom, like pathway up.
Wolves have something to do with Tyr, don't they?
Yes, you would know that Tyr is famous for having two, what he calls like battle wolves, that serve him in battle. They are also said to serve as his overseers of law. Like one is law, one is justice, and they help oversee things like that.
Okay. I'll just bow to both of them.
Yeah.
Be like
Bow.
20 feet away, bow from them, and then make it like a 5-second bow, and just go to walk up to the temple.
Yeah. As you bow, they sort of stare at you fairly menacingly. And then as you begin to walk, they just turn and almost guide you up the mountain. And they do not stop. The walk up the mountain is about a day. It takes about a day to walk up there along this, well-trodden path. And these things do not stop. They do not slow down, almost as if these things are not mortal. They do not get exhausted. They do not get tired. They're otherworldly in that respect. And just to keep up with them is a monumental task. Can you make me an athletics check?
What for this boy? Ah, shit.
14. Now can you make me a Constitution saving throw to try and stave off some exhaustion as you are finding yourself really pushing now to try and keep up with these things. 18. So though you do slightly flag behind in a few places, you do manage to keep up with them, and you do manage to stave off the exhaustion. And by the time that sort of like evening begins to set upon this mountain, you make it to the top. You are panting heavily, but you've once again managed to sort of like, push yourself to the point of like just before exhaustion sort of thing. But you make it to the top. It is a long, long walk up this like winding path that goes sort of around and then through and then up. These walls are completely silent, and as you begin heading to the top, a snowstorm begins to sort of harass the mountain. The snow pushes at your face, beneath your armor, you get cold, you get wet. They do not allow you to stop for food, so you become hungry, nor drink. They just do not stop. And eventually you make it to the top of the mountain, as I say, cold and quite tired, not exhausted, but certainly tired. And this storm is making it so that you can barely see sort of 20 feet, 30 feet ahead of you. And as you sort of get up to the top and you can see this large statue of the maimed god before you, the walls suddenly break off into a sprint and disappear into the fog and mist. And they're gone. Silently and as swiftly as anything ever was. You continue on your path up towards, you're basically at the temple now. And the temple at the top of this mountain is like, sort of imagine a sort of classic style temple, but it's almost like a ring shape. And in the center of this ring is a large courtyard where the 3 law stones stand, as well as a very large tree, which upon this mountain that is often racked by storms and cold, has no reason to grow as brightly and vibrantly as it does, yet it does all the same. When you arrive in this space, there are no temple workers, there are no visitors, no one is here. As you approach the temple, usually there are guards, paladins, sworn to oaths to defend this place to their death, to beyond death. But they are not here. Usually you see many priests and clerics sort of doing busy work around, keeping the place tidy and neat, performing prayers and offerings. None of them are here. The only individual that is here is the one that stands before you when you step out into the courtyard, in the middle of this ring. In the courtyard, as I said, there is this large tree in the center of the courtyard. And then in front of the tree is 1 law stone. And either side of the tree are 2 others. And in front of all of these is a tall, white feathery winged figure wearing full plate armor. She has a large mace on her side, a huge shield on her back. She is like the epitome of an angelic paladin, if one were to exist. And she stands as if waiting for you, and as if somewhat impatient. As you approach, she sort of has her arms crossed. She says, "So you are the one he has sent. My new Justicar. Interesting." Very.
Yeah, it's me. Oh, do I know who this lady is? Is she a famous figure? And
Make a religion check.
that requires your brain, though. Oh, not bad.
20. Yeah, you recognize this figure immediately. It's the mace that gives it away. There are tales of a paladin of Tyr from long ago that turned into a Justicar called Reva. She was a very powerful Justicar, one of the very first. And there are many sort of heroic deeds that are dedicated to her. She's, almost like best to describe it. Yeah, just one of the when people are thinking of like holy warriors in Ambyr, even throughout all of the pantheons, all of the different gods, she is definitely one of the names that is very, very much up there. Though you see her now as an angelic figure, not as a mortal paladin, and she existed, she lived thousands of years ago, well, more like sort of maybe 2,000 years ago. She says to you, Griffin Asahi, you've been brought here under the command of Tyr, become Justicar. However, you are a unique individual. For the past 1,000 years, I have brought Justicars into the fold, for I was one myself. Tyr sends me to test their will, their strength. But you, as I say, are unique. Usually a Justicar upholds the law. I am told you are not meant to uphold the law. You are meant to be the darkness that awaits those who betray it.
Yeah, sort of a private little arrangement I've got with there. I tried the good route. It's not really my forte. I can do things for a good purpose. I just don't do it in a good way. Does that make sense?
She says nothing, but a sort of smirk, a very cocky smirk sort of appears over her face as she begins reaching round for a mace. She sort of swings it through the air a few times. The word Tyr used to describe you was you are to be a nightmare. I did not live an easy life. In fact, in my life, I think I had more nightmares than dreams. Let us see what kind of nightmare you are. She raises her hand, and a shield suddenly like flashes on her back and teleports to her hand. And with a leap, her wings pushing behind her, she thrusts herself towards you. Let's roll initiative, Sam. Now, important note. She wants to see the nightmare that you are. It's not necessarily defeat her.
Yeah. Can I do both?
Show her that you can be an absolute fucking nightmare. Absolutely.
I guarantee
Absolutely.
I will not be going first.
The
No,
nightmare
you
is
will not.
patient. It waits for you.
Yeah.
Indeed. Right, so we're going to do this sort of theatre of the mind a little bit. Though two paladins clashing, you can imagine there's not going to be a lot of left, right, movement, range.
Can
No,
you have them
she
into a map then so we can put two figures on it and not have them move at all?
exactly. So she charges towards you, surging through the snow. Swings her weapon down towards you, and let's see if she hits. Oh god, that probably doesn't hit. That's an 18 to hit.
Haha.
Nope. And okay, that one 29 to hit.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
Yeah.
Haha. Oh shit.
Yeah, the first attack you're able to deftly sort of like bring up your shield and block, but yeah, sadly, the second sort of swing that she brings about just clashes against the sort of back side of your arm with a mace, and she deals 10, 13, 15, 15, 20 points of sorry, not entirely 20 points, 10 points of bludgeoning damage and 10 points of radiant damage.
I think I take half radiant damage because of my celestial resistance.
I think you might do.
Okay, so I take 15 total. Yeah.
Yeah, and the second swing is going to be a 24 to hit.
You've done. That's your third swing.
Oh yes, sorry. Yes, then that is the two swings.
And the 18th swing is going to be
And as a bonus action, she's going to as her bonus action. The bonus action. She is going to where is it? Yes, she's going to do Champion's Challenge. Bonus action, you issue a challenge that compels other creatures to do battle with you. Each creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw on a failed save. The creature can't willingly move or more than 30 feet away from you. So can you make me a wisdom saving throw?
I'll voluntarily fail this save.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
You think
All
I'm
right.
going anywhere?
All right, Griffin, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Be dark. Be dark, be edgy. Nothing says edgy.
Be the fallen Asimar you're meant to be.
Yeah. As a bonus action, I will cast Wrathful Smite.
Fantastic.
And then I will strike with my War Axe of TR. No, Weave Cleaver. I will strike with Weave Cleaver. Oh, is Weave Cleaver going to have an issue with me? Whatever, fuck it. 16, I presume, doesn't hit.
16 does not hit, I'm afraid.
Ah, you bastard. We'll go again. Hopefully do a lot better. 22?
22 does hit, however.
Okay, right.
And that's too much for a parry, so.
14 the slashing.
14 slashing.
And then my Wrathful gives me an extra d6. So 16. And then make a wisdom saving throw or be frightened until the spell ends.
Alrighty, just give me 1 second. So 14 slashing. How much was the other damage?
2 psychic.
2 psychic. So that's 16. Needs to make a wisdom saving throw. She has advantage on saving throws against magical effects. So she gets to roll that again because that was crap. Nope, rolled a 6 and an 8. For a total of 8. What's 8 plus 9? 17. I don't think a 17 passes, does it?
My spell save is 17, so she passes.
It's 17, so she passes. Yeah, you swing this around. The spell sort of begins to take hold, you can see, but she fakes it off. And she just sort of looks at you. I said it. A nightmare. And she gets ready to swing herself. But is there anything else on your turn?
No, that's bonus and 2 attacks, so that'll do me.
Cool. In which case, she is going to look towards you and pretty much do the same thing, except in this, she sort of, as you sort of hit her once, she lifts up off the ground and almost like flips almost like over you and attacks you sort of like mid-air as she's sort of flipping like right around over you, her wings propelling her through the air. So the first attack is going to be a natural 1. Fantastic. The second attack is going to...
Don't do so many flips and shit, bro.
The second attack is going to be a unnatural 20. It's 20 on the dot.
Misses.
Misses. So first attack, she wildly misses as you duck underneath, and then the second attack, she just brings down her huge mace onto your shield, and you just hold your shield there. She is very, very strong, but you manage to, yeah, as I say, hold her mace just on top of your shield. What would you like to do?
You want to see a nightmare, huh? And I will activate my necrotic shroud. And
Alrighty.
it goes even paler than it already is, and my eyes go deep black, and these sort of ghostly, flightless wings appear on my back, and I'm channeling the shadow of death. And she must make a charisma saving throw.
Oh, charisma saving throw. That is...
Frightened.
I'll be frightened. I didn't know it was a charisma saving throw. Oh my god. Oh, that is a 16 this time, even with advantage.
DC.
Fucking shitter.
Did you say 16?
16.
Yeah, she fails, so she's now frightened of me.
She is now frightened of you. You can see she hides it well, but there's a very slight sort of turn on her face as she looks towards you.
That's just, I put that in by accident, but you can read it if you're interested. And
Cool. So that is your action.
yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can do this. The bonus action.
No, JJ, they don't.
It's
fine, you're not-
37 to hit all of a sudden. I like to imagine this moment
would you-
Sorry.
Oh god, sorry.
Like I say, I like to imagine this moment like interspersed with shots of like Doc and Kaiman and Oramis and Gylndan and Mazzy like having a nice evening and just like nice wholesome time, and then Griffin's fighting for his life on the top of a mountain.
How was
Yes,
your
good point.
day? Amazing. How was your day? I bled at the top of a mountain fighting a living legend of metal.
Pretty much.
Trying to find something else to do. She's in my like presence, isn't she?
She is, yes.
Okay, can I?
Come on, Griffin. Yeah, with the big guns.
I do want to hit with the big guns. I can't do an attack. As I've used my action.
You can still cast a spell.
Yeah, will you let me? So I can cast darkness.
Yeah.
As I can
Using
use 2
sorcery
sorcery
points.
points to cast it, so I can see in it. And then would you allow me to do that as a quicken spell?
Yeah, you cast the
be-
spell.
That's quite
so-
expensive, but it's
Yeah, it's
what I
very
want to
expensive
do.
to use, so that's why I'll allow it.
Yeah.
In this moment, you like we would sort of see just Griffin, like his eyes just go black, skin goes pale. This woman looks towards him. There's just this slight turn on her face, and then all of a sudden everything just goes black all around.
I will just give her a very chilling grin as I do
Such
this.
a cool
Yeah.
visual as well as you activate the necrotic shroud and just blackness, just like this deep darkness just envelops you.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, to be fair, that's fucking sick.
Also, or like imagine like Griffin just taking like a half step back into the shadows as they emerge.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. Is that your turn?
Right there.
You're scared now, bitch. Yeah, that's me.
Cool. She just sort of looks around. Now that is more like it. And she's going to use a bonus action. Sadly, she was going to do a smite, but she's going to need to use a bonus action to try and figure out what the fuck you are in all this darkness. Yeah, I'd say that's a 19. So I'd say with a 19, she knows what direction you're in. Still with disadvantage, but she's going to whack you anyways.
Advantage because she's scared of me and can't see.
Yes. Oh, okay. So that was a natural 20 or a 10, which makes that 22.
I will cast shield.
Fantastic. As she swings around for the first attack, there is a very, very brief glimpse of light as she casts shield. And instead of the clang of metal, it's just this brief, like. And the second attack is never going to hit with a 4 and a 2. So, yeah, second attack just swings wide. And you're just sort of watching her swing in places you're not even at. She was probably not ready for this. It is down to you. You have advantage on your attacks.
Oh yeah, we're going to be
as you
striking.
cannot see.
We'd be striking. That's number 1. 19. That's rubbish.
19 does just hit.
Just hit. Okay, amazing. So we'll do that. 14, and then we'll pump.
Sorry, she has. Sorry, I read my notes wrong. She has plate armor with a shield that doesn't hit. Her AC is 20.
Ooh. Okay, right, and then I'll miss the second one, but I'll go. Oh my god!
Yeah, she is very. You can tell she has a very, very defensive fighting style. Just swinging through this thing, she's almost like using her hearing to try and figure out where you're swinging, and she does manage to just about defend some of your attacks. Any bonus actions, anything like that?
Yeah. That's really fucked me off. That I have a +13 to hit, and the best I could roll across 4 rolls was a 6. I will use my narcotic shard. No, that'll do for me for the moment.
All right. She is going to. Yeah, pretty much do the same thing again. Actually, she's gonna use a bonus action to herself cast Wrathful Smite, and then try and hit you. So that is a 28. Oh no, disadvantage. That is a 16. And second attack. For fuck's sake, that's a 21.
Miss.
Fucking hell. One of us has got to hit something soon.
This is just 2 people in the dark whiffing. One of whom can actually see.
Yeah, sadly, she is swinging her blade around. She's cast a spell on it.
Oh,
but
let's fucking go.
it is
32,
just
Ben.
not,
Tell me that doesn't hit.
32 definitely does hit, Sam.
Okay, right. 13 slashing, and then we're going to pump an unreasonable amount of smite into this. So level 3 would be 48. Am I? That's
level 3 would be 48. Yeah.
okay.
You can, if you did level 4, that'd be on max 5d8.
Ben, don't tease me like that. So that'll be 27 damage, 14 radiant, 13 slashing,
Yep.
and of course we're going to hit again. That is absolute trash. Your mum doesn't love you.
First attack manages to slash her across one of the wings, but she manages to just roll out of the way. Now, sort of realizing, okay, you're slightly off in this position than where I thought you were. She's up. She's going again. She's definitely sort of looking towards you, like, this is the Griffin Asahi I've heard of. And that is going to be a 21, which misses.
Yes, yep.
And a 24.
So we'll hit a shield.
Hit a shield. Great. She misses you again as she's like swinging down with this mace now. And she's actually going to use her movement to just fly up. She's just going to try and get the fuck out of there. So you have an attack of opportunity if you'd like to take it.
Oh, absolutely would. I assume that's with advantage.
That is with advantage, 23.
That and then another 4d8. 29 damage.
29 damage. Jesus. 60. Yeah, fuck. She's actually doing okay. She flies up, and you can see her just like out of the darkness looking down. Impressive. I wonder what happens if someone brings light to the situation. And she waves her hand over, and you can see in the center a mote of light begins piercing through the darkness as she casts daylight.
Have I used my reaction this turn?
I believe you did to use the attack of opportunity. Though if yeah, use your reaction to do an attack of opportunity.
Oh, I can't actually do what I thought I could do anyway, so never mind.
Yeah. So she casts daylight, which is a 3rd level spell, which I believe breaks your darkness.
Yeah, I only cast it. It's a standard 2nd level, so
Yeah, this in the darkness of this mountain, yeah, suddenly just this bright light begins erupting from the center of the battlefield. She's still afraid of you, so actually she can't now move down towards you, which
no,
sucks.
it's only for a 10. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not frightened anymore. Okay. In which case, yeah, she'll begin to move back down. She definitely has the movement, so she'll begin to sort of move back down, almost like slamming superhero landing on the floor. It is your turn.
So is she back within my melee range?
She's back within your melee range now.
Okay, I'll charge her again. I've been a bit of a dummy here. So every melee hit that I've hit, I get to add, what level are we? 15?
Yes.
I guess I had
15.
15 necrotic damage on every melee I do.
Okay, so how many have you hit so far? You've hit 1, you've hit 2, you've hit 2. That's it, right?
Yeah.
3. Sorry.
The extra necrotic damage equals your levels. Yeah. So that's
Actually, no, you've only hit a 2 with your thing, so that's an extra 30 damage.
ouch.
Ouch. Yes, that does change things slightly. She's slightly concerned of you, but she's doing all right.
Who isn't?
Who isn't?
All right, I'm gonna
Slightly concerned, but
strike her again.
yeah.
24.
24 does hit, yes, and out of parry range.
And another 4d8. 32 damage with the smite as well.
Nicely done.
And then I'll go again. Now we're cooking on gas.
Now we're definitely cooking on gas.
13, and then I'll do what's max smite?
Max smite's 5d8.
5d8 on level 4. I'll do that.
Yeah.
24, so 37 damage. That was a good 10.
37 damage. And that is also 30 damage added onto both of those.
Oh shit, yeah.
Well, yeah. 30 damage
the
added
monster!
on at the end. Yes, Griffin, how do you see yourself finishing off this individual in this duel?
It's just like I felt whenever I'm quite not unlike an elegant fighter, but I have some sort of finesse. Whereas as soon as I hit my necrotic shroud, it's just like I just ravage people. Like it's not pretty. So yeah, just sort of overwhelm her with like brute force and aggression, basically.
Yeah, this final attack sort of just slices across her chest. She flips sort of to the side, rolls in the snow, and her wing, which is like blood splattered, just sort of covers her, and she lies there still. Before then, an ebbing glow emits beneath her wings and within her chest where you can't see, and she just slowly returns to her feet, takes a step, looks towards you. I'm intrigued. I think you'll make a good nightmare. First of your kind. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
She looks beyond you and calls up a hand, and several individuals begin flowing in. The priests of Tyr that wear these like very, very drab grey robes, like just plain grey wool robes. And one of them brings out a large sort of like block or like seat that sort of leans forward. And you are expected to sit on it. They help take off your armor. She steps to you and says, as the final part of the practice, you will get a mark of the Justikar on your back. It may hurt a little, but I have a feeling you'll be able to take it. You are sat sort of forward in almost like a medieval tattooing chair, your armor taken from you, and upon your back, over the next few hours, pretty much until morning, a large tattoo of the symbol of Tyr is done on your back, like very like stick and poke style, in the cold of the snow and the snowstorm, all out here. And it's this symbol. The symbol of Tyr is basically like a hammer, and then out of the sides come scales. As morning comes, the first light comes, and the final sort of poke is done upon your back. It's been a painful, long night. You've eventually made it through. You've eventually made it through. As you look up, you feel a presence above you. Feel Tyr looking down on you, smiling. Giving a quite wide smile. And you feel a choice. You feel presence, the ability for change, should you want it. if you would like to become a Scourge or Protector Aasimar, you may, of course, do so now. Or you may
get back-
remain a Fallen Aasimar.
Can I get back to you on that decision? Because I can't remember the benefits of all of them.
So the Protector Aasimar, your wings can allow you to fly. You still get the radiant. You still get the damage every round, but the damage is radiant instead of necrotic. Scourge Aasimar, you basically exude light. You become light, and anything that hits you takes damage.
I'll have a think on that.
I think
Yeah.
on it.
I don't know. I think. Yeah, I'll have a think on it.
Okay. Yeah, you can have a think on it. Get back to me for next week or next time we play. But your trial is done. You are now a Justicar of Tyr. As this night, wherever our guardians sit and lay to rest, they think back to the last sort of week they've had. Many of them have stormed a prison, taken out a lot of bad guys. Kaiman helped his people, crafted some amazing armor. Oramis started a revolt or a vote, which ultimately failed, but the experience was good enough. Traveled many places, found out the priest's plan, spoke to Tiamat. Doc was reconfirmed into the Dwarven Brotherhood, and Griffin became a Justicar. And it's right before Christmas, so I think if there was a time for a level up to level 16, now is as good a time as any. So congratulations, gentlemen.
They're coming thick and
You-
fast.
They are. We're getting to the end of the campaign, and I figured now is as good a time as any, as a lot of you in the past few sessions have completed a lot of personal goals, which I think is really, really fun and should be commended. So congratulations. Next session, we will pick up with probably Griffin getting back to the capital, and we'll finally go back to you guys just having one character to worry about. And we will pick up with the Feywild arc, which should be a lot of fun. I'm very, very excited for some Feywild madness. Hope you all enjoyed. Apologies, it was a session pretty much filled with a lot of me talking, particularly for Luke and Ryan. I apologize. But we will get on to some interesting things that might befall Oramis and Kaiman and co. soon. As I say, thank you all very much. And
What
yeah.
day are we doing next week? Aim for the 28th, yeah.
Yeah,
Thursday,
Thursday.
because Tuesday's the 16th, so that's not going to work. No, it's 26th, sorry, so that's not going to work.
Yeah,
So
I'm not free Tuesday.
It'll have to be Thursday or the new year.
Yeah, I'm happy for either. I understand if obviously people can't do that week because that week's usually very busy with visiting